It's time to live life through the eyes of fit people so that you too can live a fit life yourself. This is Fit Because. I'm one of your hosts, Jennifer Zerling, but you can call me Jay-Z. I'm a fitness and age management expert, author, speaker, as well as an international health advocate.
And I'm your other host, George Veater. I'm an entrepreneur, cattle rancher, fitness enthusiast, and a 6-time rodeo champion who has a huge amount of knowledge to share with you in the area of self-improvement.
Oh, he does. Get ready to learn how to bridge the gap between knowing what to do and doing what it takes to become physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and financially fit.
You ready, Jay-Z?
Oh, I'm ready, George.
Let's dive in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Jay-Z, one of your hosts, and I got George Veater to my right. And we also have a special guest in-house, which is so exciting. Marxel, I got your last name as Léobez.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was Lobes. This, my friends, is an excellent episode because here's a guy who I have known for years. Met him at a wonderful studio called Core Power Yoga in Brentwood, California. And he had one of those classes where you couldn't get your mat on the floor if you tried. Your following was through the roof, okay? He's been teaching for many years. He's got this unique technique that I've never even seen, and I've been a fitness expert for, 20 somewhat years. And he brings this amazing twist to our industry, and you would think he's going to talk about fitness today, but actually, he's going to talk about something even more important for a lot of our listeners out there, and that is, do you have a plan B? Here's this superstar who had undergone a major surgery, which has thrown him out of the realms of what he's amazing at. And now it's time for him to explore another route, which is what I want this episode to be about, on how you handled knowing what you went through and what you're doing currently to stay positive, to stay mentally and emotionally fit. And ultimately, if you can teach our listeners and viewers, what they can do to successfully come out on the other end in a positive note, that would be great. So let's just start off. Just tell a little bit about yourself because you're a superstar, man. I love you dearly. And I'm so grateful that you're on our show.
I was just thinking about that. We've known each other for almost 10 years almost. It's been a long time. Because when I moved to LA, you're one of the first people that I ever met. So I appreciate you having me on the show.
Of course.
I hail from Orange County, from Whittier, California. I went to school at Cornell University. And then I actually was signed to Sony, and then I came to LA to finish my contract, but all the labels crashed. So yoga was my plan B. And I didn't expect it to turn out how it has. I kind of, I don't know what the term is called, an idiot savant at movement. Is that the term? I'm naturally good at movement. So I just was able to make my own technique with yoga, with weights, yoga sculpt, power sculpt, and not that I wasn't trying, but I'm very competitive, and I just kind of naturally use movement to music to guide me how to create my brand, and it quickly kind of just blew up within West Los Angeles. So that's kind of what brought me to that point. I worked for a lot of big corporations, and I did a lot of wear and tear on my body. Energy-wise, it was a lot to keep giving and giving, and after about 8 years, I developed really bad nodes, cysts, and growth cells on my vocal cords. And essentially my body forced me to kind of take a break, if not divert or change what my life plan is going to be. So I'm no stranger to things changing or having a lot of surprises, but it was kind of very abrupt and very very traumatic because I'm also a singer. And singing became kind of like the plan B. Like I still was kind of entertaining that idea through my network of relationships with students, but I can't sing anymore, and I also can't use my voice as much. So it's been a huge transition of healing and appreciating what I had, and trying to figure out what the next step is. So yeah, it's kind of the little synopsis.
That's awesome. I think that is really important in today's world to have this discussion with somebody that's led your type of life and had your walk. Because we live in a world with so much transition. A generation ago, people went to work for a company and worked there for 40 years and retired with a full pension. And it was it required a lot less recreating in your life. But nowadays, most people have 2 or 3 career changes. This is very common. That's a norm now. And then if you have great aspirations, there's going to be stuff blow up. It's just a part of most people's evolution. And then to regroup, create a new vision, launch forward with a new plan, it necessitates a certain skill set, a certain amount of self-inspection and growth. And then some tools that we'll talk about today, that we'll discover together today, that help you do that. Because being able to start where you are, recreate yourself, move forward, always being willing to start over when things don't go as planned. The old saying always comes to my mind: the most well-made plan is no match for the mess of reality. So lots of times we think we know where we're going and how life's going to turn out for us, and then we get whacked upside the head, and that's when we really discover what our strengths are. So could you kind of describe for me, Marcel, what your low point felt like, where it was, and what it felt like, what the struggle felt like?
Well, I think it was a series of things. It did all happen in one time. I'm a survivor, so I have high pain tolerance. I can rough it and really, if I'm going towards a dream or whatnot. But the past 3 years have been hard because I wasn't aware that physically that was taking a toll on me mentally, of just being drained, having inflammation, not being able to perform at the caliber people expected me when I was in my early 20s, and then having to have these high caliber studio positions with press expecting me to be a Superman. I couldn't do that anymore. So the low points were when opportunities, good press, good celebrity clients, and good just a way to elevate my career kept getting kind of knocked down. So like not being able to be on what was that show? What was that Khloe Kardashian show? What's that one?
Oh, is it that new fitness show?
Yeah, no, like Revenge Body, like all these different
Yeah.
opportunities just came at one time, and I wasn't mentally prepared because physically I was falling apart. So there were a lot of repetition of signs of just things not happening, and then finally, and then being very disappointed. So it was kind of losing one client, one source of income, one high profile client, losing an opportunity, losing my relationship with my publicist, a studio kind of discarding me like I was like a horse that couldn't race anymore. Everything was slowly being taken, not slowly, but taken out very, as if there was a divine plan of like systematically breaking me down.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's like boom, 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 boom. And then finally the lowest point was when they're like, well, if you want to talk again, and you don't want to be getting sick all the time, we got to take out, majority of your vocal cords. If you sing, you'll lose about, I think they said 40 to 50% of my speaking voice. So I think it was probably when I came home, like after all that and being given the diagnosis and being told what I would have to do. And it was probably back in December, very lonely Christmas, and just kind of, not in a financially good space and not in a mentally good space, and just feeling very alone. And that's kind of that point where I just had to let it go and just have a little breakdown. So, sorry, that was long-winded, but that's kind of what happened.
No, that helps us feel what
Yeah.
that moment was like for
I
you.
felt like it was kind of like my life has been a series of almost. So like it's kind of and I know one shouldn't project out there to like put out in the universe that something's not going to happen, but as a survivor, you naturally brace for like something like that. But I kind of felt there was such a build of disappointment and a build of loss that it kind of it didn't so much take me by surprise, but it kind of made me upset because there seemed to be not so much a pattern, but I kind of was aware that it was going to go down pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even because I obviously follow you on Instagram because I, have this affinity for you.
You're my biggest fan.
I'm your biggest fan. But, you don't really strike me as somebody who, even at that low, actually felt what somebody else might feel in their low. Like there's something that glows within you, even when you're down there. So why do you think that is? Like, is it because you have like a high level of education, a good upbringing? Like what do you think people need to do when they're down there to bring themselves back up? Because you're obviously going on a trip. You're obviously not quitting. I mean, you're just starting, I think, and you don't even realize where you're going, but you're going somewhere great. What's that first thing you did when you said I had a breakdown to where you are today?
I mean, well, to answer your first question too about the Instagram thing, I that world is so strange to me, and I just naturally excelled at it. I kind of got on the train for that late, but I just speak my mind, and that's not always the most popular thing in the fitness industry. I don't pretend that. I think it's a fine line of like kind of joking about myself, like, oh, like I'm a broken horse, instead of being like smiling and with like a sponsorship from Nike or something, and pretending everything behind the scenes is okay. So I think
Yeah.
people can relate to the fact that I'm pretty honest. But I definitely have tantrums, and they're kind of comedic. I'm like, why is this happening? Like, what did I do? Like, in my past life. But I guess my breakdown process is a little bit of an internal tantrum. And then I got to make it funny. I got to post a story and kind of laugh at the situation. Then I breathe, as cliche as that sounds, meditate. But it's like a breakup. You go through all the feels, like the anger, the bitterness, the disappointment, and then feeling. I don't know. Most people that are in life coaching and that are very positive have given me a lot of I don't want to say a bad word, but they give me a lot of crap for how I kind of I have a lot of how
He
you
asked me before, can he curse on the show? I said, try not to. So thank you.
yeah, I have a pretty bad potty mouth, but no, I kind of I just get into it all, the anger, the bitterness, and all that, so then I can begin to dissect it and then kind of come through, almost like a rite of passage. So that's kind of my process. But some people do judge and think that I'm a bit negative when I kind of speak my mind about things that I feel are unfair through my process. I think out loud,
Right.
but I think, and this sounds really full of myself, but like you kind of said earlier, but I think people are kind of fascinated about me because of that, because they're like, how did he make it this far? Because someone else would do that and they would be, I don't know. I think a lot of my survival is by people's fascination at how I'm able to break the rules and do things my way, I guess. I don't know. I do know that's why.
Yeah, we actually have one of our previous episodes is on authenticity.
Yeah.
And so what you're describing is you're not afraid to be authentic
Yeah.
and to feel what you feel and to express how you feel and to share the experience that you're living through with others, which is wonderful,
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes you relatable. Your power to help people is only unleashed when you're willing to be vulnerable and say it how it is, right?
Exactly.
Instead of presenting to the world a certain image that might not be you, but you think other people want to see.
Definitely. But I think authenticity also gets you in a lot of hot water, makes it hard to thrive. I mean, I think being true to your authenticity, it has limited me in regards to mainstream opportunities to be financially stable with major brands. But I don't regret it, because I think end of the day, I think we'll get more to that later about community. I've survived also by my community I built around that appreciates the fact that I'm the good, the bad, the yogi. I just completely do me.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying with not being sponsored by major brands, but there's something in my heart that tells me that something is going to come up very soon because you're authentic. Like, you're very different, Marcel,
Oh, I know.
in so many different ways. Like, if you look at his posts, I mean, I'm not one to like actually land on a page and like read the whole thing. Like, I always read his content. I think I'm just so intrigued by how authentic you are and how much depth there is to what you're willing to share with the world at your own cost. So tell me a little bit about that, or tell us about that. How, even though being authentic might put you in a little bit of hot water, like why you stay true to that methodology.
I can't help it. I just think that, I don't know. I just always have, whether it's been good or bad for me, I just always just kind of speak my mind. I think something's wrong, I'll say it's wrong. If I feel I've been wronged, I'll call it out. And it's not for a lack of fear. I think there's two parts of me. I'm actually very shy. But I think that I just can't, it's like that it just builds up. And if I keep it there, then I'll just be miserable. So I have to, and honestly, and I don't like sounding like that kind of yoga person, but a lot of time I feel like it's channeled from somewhere else. Like I get this I'm in this process that I know is universal that I have to talk about. And then I just start writing, and it's not really, it's from me, but it's from somewhere else. And I I'm not religious at all, but this year has proven to me that we all are connected and spiritual on some level. So I definitely just let it pour out. And it's been harder to do as of late. But I journal more, and then I kind of take from my journal and see what can inspire other people that might be in the same process but are too afraid to speak out.
Right.
So
That's awesome.
yeah.
A book that I reference all the time in these episodes is Think and Grow Rich, that's been around since 1937, but it's a study of successful lives and what they had in common. And one of the principles is on persistence, going through hardship. And Napoleon Hill, the author, says that every adversity brings with it the equivalent of an equal or greater success.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that sometimes when you're in these difficult moments and you're trying to recreate what your future is going to look like as your life has changed in an unplanned way,
Mm-hmm.
I think we have to keep believing that there's something that there's a muscle that got stronger through the adversity. There is a door that opened that I wasn't looking for before. Something happened to pay me back for surviving this struggle. And so I totally, as I'm listening to your story and getting a feel for your character, I mean, I'm excited for your future of what launches from here.
I'm scared. I'm excited too. We'll see. But you have to be open to what could happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's been the newest lesson.
Yeah.
Taking my talons out of what I thought it could be, because I don't like to give up, but I'm realizing now that I'm in my 30s, it's kind of, it's not so much that you give up on your dreams, but the dreams change, your needs change.
Yeah.
And being able to, but if you would have told me that, we might have had a conversation about that in my mid-20s, but like, I was like, what is she talking about? Like, your brain isn't there yet. It has to be the right timing, and the universe puts you in the right time and place to learn those things.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you're taking a trip to Europe. So what is your
Yeah.
goal of going to Europe, and what do you wish to get out of that trip?
I mean, I am such a planner. So I watched this ridiculous movie coming back from a fitness thing in Miami called Call Me by Your Name. I don't know if it's a love movie. It's one of the only things I'm not good at, love. So I figured, well, I'm not crazy that something's going to happen there, but like, I want to see where they filmed everything, and that led to one thing. And then I basically found a ticket round trip for $300. So I just decided to go for it. And I have a feeling that as much as it's not the right financial decision, it'll be a good reprieve to kind of do things I'm not comfortable doing, which is being alone, meeting people in a very weird environment like a hostel. Is that what they call them?
Yeah.
Yeah, then I'll just treat myself in Mykonos the last week before I fly back.
In like a 5-star hotel.
So yeah, I'm just going to go for it. I'm really scared to go, but as we spoke before, it's not that there's nothing for me here, but I need to get an outside perspective in this new place that I'm in, and then, just eat, drink, and fall in love, maybe. We'll see.
Huh.
I'll be anxious for the follow-up on that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, just departing from our theme that we're on right now for just a second, I'm curious to know a little bit about principles that you teach people to help them with their health and fitness. If we can delve into that for just a second, being you have such a deep experience and amount of knowledge there, could you give us a short list of what you coach people to focus on?
Great question.
That come to you, to improve their well-being physically and spiritually?
I mean, it depends on the client or the person. I really took a break from training the past 3 years, but as you know, in Los Angeles, people either come for the aesthetic or they want the whole enchilada. Most of them are aesthetic, but do you mean like all those things or specific?
Yeah, just kind of general rules that you live by that you share with others that help them move forward.
I mean, it's really more so just laugh more. I mean, I just think that people take themselves so seriously here in Los Angeles, and I used to be one of those people. But I mean, you are what you eat. I'm really big on nutrition, but I just think if you could be well-rounded and still do things from a place of joy, whether it's the nutrition, whether it's how hard you train, whether it's whatever you do to have a wellness practice, like do it from a place of joy, not necessarily being so geared on the result. Because when you do things from a place of joy, it's easier. It doesn't become work, and it's not a punishment. Because regardless, I think whether people ask me nutrition advice or they ask me fitness advice, it's always after a negative of I just came back from Cabo and I drank all these margaritas and, like, what can I do to get rid of this? You probably get that all the time. Or they'll say something like, like I had a pizza last night. I'm such a fat cow. Like what can I do to flush out my system? So I tend to get that because usually when I'm not in the healing process, I'm pretty teeny and lean. So it's usually aesthetic, but I would just kind of say, like, just be happy you're able to enjoy that and just try to, again, do everything from a place of joy. That's just kind of my overall theme.
Yeah.
So
good.
Yeah.
And, to tag on to that, how do you think you got into that whole celebrity trainer mode? Like maybe share that a little bit, because everybody's so intrigued by the celebrity world. Like, celebrities have like a different kind of crap that they poop, and they breathe different air. Like, what attracted celebrities into your world?
I mean, again, I don't want to sound full of myself, but I have this inkling and I'm going to do something really big and probably be a celebrity, but I attract that. I don't know. I think because I was trained for so many years in Sony being a dancing monkey, and then having to have the je ne sais quoi to like attract people and the look. And I treated the fitness industry as if I was still in the boy band. So it was a performance. And I think that they can appreciate that because they know what it's like to have to be on point all the time. So I think, and it kind of just happened organically. And honestly, like, at one point when I was really dissatisfied with at studios that I felt weren't paying my worth and whatnot, I kind of meditated and I just said, can you please land me like either Reese Witherspoon or like someone on my lap? And sure, I didn't quite get Reese. I got her husband's best friend, but the next thing I knew, it was very quick. I got Zac Efron, Charlotte McKinney, and all these different people were just all about my class. And a lot of playmates. It just kind of happened, boom, 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 boom. Mm-hmm. But I also think because I was in my process and they were like, why is this guy so angry and pissed off? Which I wasn't angry, I was just in thought. And I think they were like, it's different because a lot of people in LA, they want you to ditch the dogma. And I think they kind of like the fact that I kind of would come in and admit the authenticity of my process, I guess. And that's how it kind of worked out, I think. Or I know. I like to say I know more than I think.
No, but that's a good answer. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think you hit the nail on the head on that one.
Yeah. Because you remember, I used to teach the Friday back-to-backs, and then Saturday, and people would come to get a pre-workout before they would go to the bars to drink. The girls would actually leave their stuff and like leave in high heels, and they would come back with their walk of shame or whatever the next morning to like sweat it out. And the classes smelled like vodka, like everything. It was it was, and they didn't feel bad going to my class because I was like, whatever, like I'll join you next time. When I was in my early 20s, it was a wild, fun mix of like, I don't know, it was a really magical time. As much as when I was younger, when when you're paying your dues and learning stuff, I look back and I would never have met you and all the people that have helped me through all my plan Bs. I had a great community and it was a really fun era of my career. Yeah. So.
I mean, I just got to share with you because I've taken a couple of his classes. I mean, I'm a New Yorker. I'm an athlete. I would literally, there was one time I had to walk out of the class. I thought I was going to faint. And a student turns to me and goes, "You're from New York. You're walking out of Marcel's class." And I was like, holy cow. So I had to stay there and pray that I didn't collapse. Like this guy is like a whole other level. Okay. So.
I know the only thing that makes me sad, I'm not teaching anymore. So I feel like it's almost like like it's an art because I've never taught anyone how to do what I do, but and I've been very careful about that with opportunities. But I haven't found a studio that could appreciate that to grow from there. But that's part of the next journey to figure out how to keep that or kind of let that be like a lost art form because no one teaches the way that I teach. And I can say that not in cockiness. I could say that for the fact that even though I've been successful at fitness, it hasn't necessarily been like my passion. I'm naturally good at it. I love it, but it's not, you know what I mean? Yeah. I always knew I was good at it. So we'll see.
That's awesome. Well, since we're getting short on time here, can you kind of capsulize the message that you would like to share with people and our viewership here and our listening audience? A take home to help people that are in low moments and having to create a plan B?
I mean, I just think that you have to, I personally think you should have your little tantrum safely, whatever you need to do to blow off steam that's not going to hurt anyone and not going to dig the hole deeper, but just realize that that's something in itself that you need to do in order to get it all out. And then from there, reach out to your community the people that you trust and love, and you need to put the work in on yourself, but like, don't be afraid to ask for help, which is hard for me to say because I've never really asked for help. It's been kind of given to me, like without me asking, and that's a rare thing, I think, from what I understand, but just be open and like realize that the dreams don't die. They change, and no one really cares. You got to do you.
Yep.
And you got to like live. I always say, like work hard and live hard. Just keep going. So.
Yeah. Real quick before we close, tell people how to facilitate a loyal community, because that's something that you've been great at.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think you hit on the head. It's authenticity. Like, don't like, I just do me. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, why do you even like me? Like, I'm such a terrible person. Sometimes
You're
like,
not.
no, what I get like in my moods, I'm like, wow, like, but I don't know. I just think that's better to know who's going to stick around for you, like when the going gets tough. And so just authenticity is what makes a genuine community. And, and as the years have faded for me, not packing classes, because as you move from studio to studio and people, just things change, you don't have the same support. Marketing wise, like for me, it's more important to know that I can always pick up where I left off with people that just appreciated me coming from an authentic place and where they could just take that in. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good. Where can we find you if we want to follow you and follow your plan B and the progress that you're making?
Well, I'm going to document everything on Instagram for now. I took my website down. I'm in a revamping of what's going to happen. My Facebook's private, and I want to keep it private, but Instagram's where I'll be, and there's a few little things in the work for like a documentary of what I'm doing in Italy. So we'll have to see. I'm just open to what happens. But Instagram's where you can find me, Marcelito. Marcel with an X, not with a C.
Marcelito.
Yeah.
Nice. That's hot.
Awesome. Well, thank you. It's been wonderful to hear your story and to feel your energy and your sincerity, and to sense the struggle and the impending victory out of the struggle that can definitely sense being with you. And so it's been wonderful to get to know you a little bit. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
You're awesome, man. Thank you so much. And for all you guys listening and watching the Fit Because show, our next episode is also going to be epic, Getting Past Guilt. Yeah. I have a feeling that I'm going to learn a few things from that because it's like ingrained in my genes, but it's going to be awesome. And if you guys have any suggestions for shows, definitely email us through fitbecause.com. And thank you so much for listening. Give us a 5-star rating if you can as well. Why not? Especially for Marcelito and for Veater. And have a beautiful day.
Thanks.
This has been Fit Because, hosted by Jennifer Zerling
and George Veater. Be sure to follow us on social media at Fit Because Show on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
And for past episodes, be sure to visit our website at fitbecause.com.
Also, please subscribe to our show on iTunes and be sure to rate and comment. You may always request topics for our subsequent episodes.
And if you love this episode, please share it with someone you love so that we can continue spreading our mission to help people be fit.
Until next time, take care of yourself and know that your future is
Fit Because.